Hello, Stage 4. Welcome to today's science lesson. We're going to cover two topics. They are how we affect the environment and wonderful water. The two kind of go quite hand in hand, so I thought it would be best if we went over them together. You're going to get your learner book and you are going to follow along with me. And in the next video I will be sending is how we are going to go about completing our challenge, skills builder and activity books. Okay, so let's first have a short discussion on how we affect the environment. And I want you to tell me if you think we affect the environment in a good way or in a bad way. Do we have a positive effect, or do we have a negative effect on the environment? Well, we actually affect the environment in both negative and positive ways. Obviously, probably more negative than positive, but we do try our best. And we are trying to make changes in the world, and we're trying to recycle and reduce, reuse, recycle as much as we can. But it's not always easy because we still need things to function. We need factories to be working. We use plastic a lot, and I think we've got a long way to go before things get better. Okay, so let's look at our learner's book. All right, let's look at our important words that we need to know. Energy, there are many types of different energies that we can talk about here, but energy basically means our capacity to work or for something to work. Then we have waste, natural disaster, man-made disaster, and protect. And I think you should all know what all of these words mean. Natural disaster is something that happens in nature, like a typhoon or an earthquake. A man-made disaster is what we can do to our planet. For example, if we have an oil tanker leaking into the ocean, that is from us. It's our fault. Protect. We all know about protecting our environment as much as we can and protecting animals too. Okay. Let's read together. The Earth is home to more than 7 billion people. It is also home to billions of animals and plants. People, plants, and animals need clean air and water. All of us need to use energy. We also make a lot of waste. People affect the Earth in both good and bad ways. The picture shows some of the bad ways. So let's have a look. We see the boats. There's some pollution over there. So many cars, that also causes a lot of air pollution. There we have some excavation. And I would imagine that we also have deforestation. There's polluted water. There's airplanes flying and creating more air pollution, as well as the factories. Now, we can't help a lot of this because we need our world to function. But there are ways that we can try and help to make things better. So I want you guys to think of a few ways that we are able to make the world a better place. Okay, so you can maybe talk about different things we can do and how we affect our environment. Okay, here we see an earthquake can kill animals and plants. This is an example of a natural disaster. Whereas if an oil tanker sinks, the oil spills into the ocean. This can kill thousands of sea creatures and seabirds. This is called a man-made disaster. So this one cannot be helped. We have no control over it. This is something that we do have control over it and should be avoided. It is very important. We can all help to protect the environment and look after the environment. All right, well, here's an activity for you guys to do. This can be seen as kind of an extension activity. You can do it if you have some time, and you can post it on your portfolio. How can we help the environment? Okay, you can look around your school or your local environment. Look for things that could damage the environment. Look at lights, waste bins, heating, water waste, air conditioning, and toilet waste pipes. In your local environment, can you see local factories, farms, homes, roads, railways, or ships? Make drawings of these and then label your drawings. Think about how these things can have there's a spelling mistake. How these things can have a bad effect on the environment. And how could you reduce the bad effects? So if you have time, you can do a little poster like that, just showing what a typical scenario of a place that has a harmful environment. Okay, these are the questions that you can answer, and you can just discuss these. Make a list of human activities that affect the environment. I just want you to have a think about these. Write down some ways in which you can protect your own environment. And what is a natural disaster? You need to give an example. So these are just the questions that you should be able to answer after reading this. Okay, we see here railways can be good for the environment because they can reduce the number of vehicles on the roads. And why do you think that is? It's because they can hold a lot more people than cars can, for example. These are the important things that you should have learned today. People affect the environment. People, other animals, and plants all need clean air and water, and natural disasters affect the environment but are not caused by people. Okay, so you should be able to answer these questions at the end of the day and know what these words mean. All right, let's look at wonderful water. Water is so important. We cannot live without water, and our world would not survive if we didn't have enough water. So we really need to protect it, and we need to be very careful with polluting water and try and help prevent pollution as much as possible. Our bodies are made up of 70% of water too, so that's very important. Okay, the word to learn today is pollute. We all know what pollute means. Most of the water on Earth is salty. This means that we can't drink it. Some people do not have enough clean, fresh water to drink. We need clean, fresh water to drink. We need it for our animals to drink and for our plants. We do not always look after our fresh water. Villages, towns, and cities pollute rivers. So we're all responsible for polluting rivers, whether we realize it or not. People and animals make waste, which pollutes the river water. The animals and plants in the river die, and the water is not safe to drink. People who drink polluted water or eat the fish from polluted water can become sick or can die. Rivers often begin in the mountains where the water is clean and safe. Lots of animals and plants live in and by the rivers. By stopping pollution, we can make the land and waters clean again. Do you think that we will ever be able to stop the pollution? We are trying, but it seems like a really hard thing for us to do in the world. Okay, so again, this is you can read about activity 2.7a, and if you have time and you would like to, you can do this activity, and you can then upload it, and I will have a look at it, and I will give you some feedback. Okay, this is quite a cool one, so if you're able to do this one, it would be great, and if you do it, a photo or a video would be really nice. This is an optional activity for you. If you have the time to do it, you can do it. You need 2 beakers. It doesn't have to be a beaker. It can be just cups, tap water, a funnel, filter paper, sand, and a stick for stirring. Now, this is something we would have done in class had we been at school. So if you can do something like this, it would be great. And I'd love to see your ideas on this. So have a read and check it out. Okay, then what we need to know from this is, what causes river pollution? What is it that causes the river pollution? You need to know and understand that. What can happen to the animals and plants in a polluted river? And what can happen to people who drink polluted water? So you need to go back and check that you can answer these questions. Then lastly, we need to know, this is what we should have learned by reading about this and learning about this. Clean, fresh water is important to humans, other animals, and plants. People often pollute fresh water. Polluted water can harm people, animals, and plants. This is something for you to think about. What do people drink when there is no clean water? And you guys can also maybe check out experiments online on YouTube. I will post a link to some of the suggested websites for this to learn more about wonderful water as well as how we affect our environment.